Good evening, WrestleTalkShow fans, and welcome again to part 2 of coverage of the Backyard DVD documentary and where we left off. First, I want to apologize. Apparently, my uploading capabilities have been promoted to longer than 15 minutes, but my regular videos are still at 15 minutes, and that's the cutoff for that. We'll be posting up-to-date information within the next 48 hours to WrestleTalkShow.webs.com. Feel free to follow us there. And let's move right into everything else. You can follow us on Facebook.com/CWE Company. Send show-related emails to CWECompany@gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube, which you're watching us now, at CWE Company. And like I said, the feedback's appreciated. It's needed. It'll help us create subject matter for the shows. We promise that if you send an email, it will be answered and or discussed on the most recent video that we do from when your email's sent. But let's get right into the current information. Let me wrap up the sentence that I got cut off on, in that Jeff Hardy needs to stay away from the public image outside of professional wrestling. Until all this dies down, there is no reason he should be doing shoot interviews high off his ass. That's all. In regards to the Backyard, I think some promotions have safety first, and others just don't care. HIW is one of them. They just don't care. It's not about the love of the show. You're putting your opponent in extreme danger. You're putting you in danger. And what kind of reasonable, high-level promoter is going to take a guy that's already been 10 years... Say it takes you 5 years to get in, and you've been doing this shit for 5 years, and you're all beaten up, cut up, scarred, and bruised. Wrestling nowadays is about mic skill, camera skill, and image. And all of the above are affected if you've been cut up and beaten up. Wrestling's one thing. Bleeding intentionally, blading... the pros do it, yes, but the blading that they do, there's no reason for it. The crowds that they cater to are not crowds that are going to lead them into a professional career. They should just be doing good matches, work on their wrestling, and move from there. To get into your wrestling for this past week, Monday Night Raw on December 20th scored a 3.3 viewership rating. SmackDown on 12/17 scored a 1.8. Impact on 12/16 scored a 1.1. Reaction ratings were unavailable, but we'll find them by the next video. And Tribute to the Truth scored 1.3. In news and current events, R-Truth is out with walking pneumonia. And we have, not complete, but we're working on it, TLC coverage. We're just going to go right down the list here real quick before the video ends, which should be a while. Held in Houston, Texas, the show started off with the three-way ladder match with Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler, just to name a few. The match concludes where Kofi and Ziggler go for the belt. The belt falls to the ground, and this was kind of interesting. When that happens, it's whoever gets to it first. Ziggler was the first to get to it, and he was declared the winner, and thus retained the Intercontinental title. Divas Tag Team Table match, Lay Cool versus Natalya and Beth Phoenix. Natalya puts the two in a sharpshooter at the same time. Beth sets up a table, which seemed like eons went by before this table got set up. Double superplex by Lay Cool to Natalya. pinfall and only a 2 count for LayCool. Natalya essentially puts LayCool through the table, and Beth and Natalya win. Backstage, Kane flips out and tears up the Christmas display that they had. Kozlov and Santino versus the Nexus. No finish as McGillicuddy interferes, resulting in a disqualification. Wade Barrett comes out and attacks Santino with chairs to push the Barrett-Cena match that is upcoming. Sheamus versus John Morrison, #1 contender match. Match was based on holds and power moves. Great match, if you ask me. Sheamus ends up eating a ladder. Stryker comments stupidly that Morrison has, quote, shattered his knee, and if that were to happen, Morrison wouldn't have been able to move. Morrison winds up getting over and is now the #1 contender and will have his title shot at the Royal Rumble. Next is Orton versus The Miz for the WWE title. And here's how that one went. Miz wound up retaining his title, and it looks like it will be The Miz versus John Morrison at Royal Rumble. Next up, The Edge, Kane, Del Rio, and Rey Mysterio. I believe it was a fatal 4-way. Edge winds up winning to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. Barrett versus Cena in a TLC style match. It's a grudge match, as we all know. Cena getting payback. Cena beats Barrett with chairs. Leg drop by Barrett. AA to Barrett through 6 chairs. Cena gets the 3 and continues to beat down Barrett. Puts a pallet over Barrett. Puts Barrett under TLC set. Cena destroys set, and 26 chairs or more fall on top of Wade Barrett. Symbolic burial from John Cena to Wade Barrett. CM Punk voices his dislike for the match outcome, which leads to a possible feud with Cena, which you'll later find, which you've seen in your Monday Night Raw, they're trying to push. We might have missed a few things, but those were the key things. And moving away from that, rather, is the following subject. I actually need a consensus here, guys. I need to know if I'm barking up the wrong tree. Do you guys agree with what's going on with Jeff Hardy? And I don't mean to keep making it a subject that no one wants to talk about, there's a lot of Jeff Hardy fans, but no one really liked his heel turn. No one likes his heel turn still. He's not a heel. You had to change all the moves. All the moves are the same. They just have hatred somehow in their name. Twist of hate, etc., etc. But should this man, who's facing real-life felony drug charges, be allowed, whether it's TNA approved or not, and that video that I posted a couple weeks ago was not a TNA video, that was a home video. Should he be allowed to do things like this? I discussed it in another video where does he hurt the image of TNA when he does things like this? Just because he has the money to duck out on court appearances or keep pushing it back, or has a decent lawyer that can keep pushing it back, the inevitable will come. And the question comes up again. Will TNA suffer because Jeff Hardy is not taking this seriously enough? Now, we already know their product suffers, but their product suffers because of what TNA management decides to do and not do. They decide not to follow through with storylines that they set up on one show but don't carry through to another. They decide to cut out your main event and pray to God that you watch reaction, which no one does. Making a joke here, Um, I think the reaction ratings are unavailable because maybe this week nobody watched. Just a thought. But let me know what you think, folks. Send your feedback to cwecompany@gmail.com. Visit us at WrestleTalkShow.webs.com. And until next time, thank you for following. Thank you for joining us. And look forward to tomorrow's video where I should have details on the live SmackDown and details on reaction ratings, etc., etc. Until next time, guys, thanks for tuning in. See you later.